it's Richard Bromwell here from Charterhouse Auctioneers in a delightful, wet Sherborne, Dorset, here talking to you about our huge two-day auction coming up on the 20th and 21st of June. Now we've got somewhere in the region of about 1,200 lots over 2 days, but I'm going to do a walk and talk through all of it, all in about sort of 8 to 10 minutes, so bear with us. Now, this is one of my favourite lots in the sale. Can you see that, George? A fantastic Fijian root club here. Now, this is part of a collection of Fijian items that was amassed by the owner when he worked out in Fiji as a civil servant. And he's got the big long war club there, which is designed for crushing skulls and breaking bones. We've got a couple of ulas or Fijian throwing clubs. There's a lot of interest in the Fijian and South Pacific items these days. A rootwood club like this is probably £800 to 1,200, and the throwing clubs are a few £100s each. But also, as usual, we've got all the ceramics. Now, I don't want to be throwing the clubs around here. We've got Balik, we've got Meissen, we've got TG Green, you name it, we've pretty got much, all of it in wonderful selections here. A big lot of militaria, a major on the military this time. We've got Victorian and later swords. We've got Japanese items, we've got divers knives. We do like a bit of a pith action here, a bit of a Dr. Livingstone, I presume. There we go. So a pith helmet and some other bits and pieces in there. We've got flintlock percussion cap, we've got more ceramics, we've got pictures coming down here. We got Dutch. This is interesting. Now, Rocket Man. I hope you've all been to see the film Rocket Man. I've not been yet. I should probably try to avoid it. But this is a little montage that someone has made here to Elton John. It's all sort of signed. You've got Royal Albert Hall tickets here in bits and pieces. And this is, what is this up here? It was enjoyed so much that when they framed it, a spider god it has died. Or do you think it's actually trying to escape from Elton's head? Maybe he's had too much drugs. I don't know. Round here, again, we've got a big selection of clocks and watches. See all the way down here, a big collection of clocks from a Somerset client here. You've got French Portico clocks, you've got English bracket clocks here. You've got this quite amazing. This is almost like an early sort of satellite navigation system for sort of triangulation there. 4 pillar cases here, clock garnitures, clocks in the form of lighthouses, huge monster clocks. Here we are, striking on the bells, Westminster chimes. That's all singing, all dancing. This is around about sort of £2,500 to £3,000. Down here, we've got some little RAF clocks here. These are little MOD, well, I suppose technically the RAF issue clocks here, Victorian clocks, and all the way down through here, again, more clocks, lots of pictures. I mean, we've got so much of absolutely everything in this time. George and I have been working very, very hard, along with everyone else. Up through here, more clocks and mirrors. One thing which George's been working on, because he's one of our experts, is on the toy section as well. So a huge collection of model die-cast trains and model vehicles come up from a client in Dorchester. So lots of cigarette cards, albums full of them all here. We've got mixed lots, we've got lots individually worth hundreds of pounds. We've got these are quite amazing. These are all built by the owner and has taken him a long time. Have a quick little look in there. What a wonderful skill to have to be able to do something like that. Now, I kind of did woodworking at school, but I kind of made a toolbox, which I still own today, but it's pretty rubbish, nothing straight on that. And another thing which is one of my favourite lots is this wonderful, charming little Kent hop cart here. And this has been, the owner's had this for about 80 years now, and there's a little sort of black and white 1930s photograph over there, all sort of trying to put it into scale here. So a lovely survivor. Something like that, not hugely valuable. It's got an estimate of around about the sort of £60 to £90. But up through here, we've got more furniture, we've got pictures, English furniture, we've got sort of Burmese rainwater drums here. We've got Victorian credenzas. This is quite sweet. A little child's sort of Tyrolean little carved and inlaid chair here. And I don't know if it's going to do it. It's got a little music box in it as well. Can you hear that? Are you getting that? There we go. Of course, there's always one tooth that's broken. So eventually, when the child sits and it all sort of stops and starts it and everything through here. This is quite amazing for a piece of 17th century English furniture. I love this wonderful geometric inlaid decoration, along with some Italian walnut chairs. These are a fine looking fellow in the corner, isn't he? And what a hugely impressive, that's all carved giltwood frame, grotesque mask, scrolling acanthus leaves, cherubs faces here, and a fine looking fellow in it as well. So value on that, probably around about sort of £5,000 to £6,000. More modestly estimated, but actually one of my favourite bits of furniture is this lovely curved settle. Now what's unusual about this settle is the fact that it's got cupboard doors in it. And just come and have a little look inside here, George, because this really, as an auction in a value, this is what I want to see. I mean, this hasn't been touched in probably sort of 200 years. And this would have been for basically for curing bacon. This is called a bacon settle. Bit of local history. If you know the Rose and Crown pub at Trent, put your hands up. George, you should be putting, George is putting his hands up. He's a regular visitor to the Rose and Crown at Trent. And this actually came from there probably 20 or 30 years ago. It's just a really nice thing. It's more recently come out of a nursing home, believe it or not. And the value on that, probably sort of £300 to £500. Over through here, again, we've got more furniture. We've got another settle. This settle has come from a farmhouse down in Devon, this one has here. And this is, again, sort of £300 to £400. Lovely ware. Lovely patina. Down through here we've got long case clocks, we've got more ceramics, we've got library bookcases, we've got linen presses, we've got chest on chests or tall boys, here we go. We've got, this is really quite a nice mahogany window seat, very, very stylish. In behind is another walnut chest on chest, Victorian furniture, we've got buckets, we've got light fittings, another walnut chest on stand. Over in the far corner over there, that's where the stamps are. It may not look a great deal, but there are probably tens of thousands of stamps there. I think we've got some in the region of 120 lots of stamps in total. So if you're interested in stamps, do have a look at the website. And now I'm just going to sort of whiz around the corner and pop in behind the counters here and just have a chat through some of my favourite lots in behind here. This is one here, and this is how we like to see things, very much in its a market fresh state. You can see here it's got parts missing to it, but what amazing, you've got lapis lazuli, you've got all these little sort of cabochon fruit and bits and pieces. Now this is Italian. This was made in Florence, probably towards the end of the 17th century. So you're talking sort of 1680 to 1700. And this is what we call almost certainly from the Grand Ducal Workshop. Now, it may look like a bit of a tired, knackered old box, but this is estimated between £15,000 and £20,000. So that's one of the star lots, you could say, in its current market fresh state. Estimated at sort of £300 to £500, we've got a very nice pair of First World War medals here. It was sadly the person, this is him. This is part of the Hanwell family. Now we have items relating to the Hanwell family from the 1820s through to the 1920s. So a long and distinguished family. We've got medals from the Crimea. We've got commissions from George IV, from William IV. The Hanwells, most of them actually were called Joseph Hanwell as well. So it's actually got quite confusing having to sort of try and work out which went with which here. We've also got here, this is Midshipman Hanwell. Sadly, he was lost on HMS Defence at the Battle of Jutland in 1916. He's just a little midshipman, and yes, he's incredibly young because he was incredibly young at the time. We've got here the telegrams that were sent through to the family. We've also got here, rather sort of bizarrely in some respects, we've got some correspondence from another member of the family here. So from a chap serving on HMS Conqueror, and it says, "Just a few lines to express my deepest sympathy with your great loss. It will be a consolation to you to know that his death must have been practically instantaneous." I mean, that's kind of quite a thing to say, and that it could not have been more glorious. Well, maybe you might get a different sort of text or WhatsApp, something coming through these days, but a fantastic collection of Hanwell family medals, part of our militaria section. Now, if you talk about a dog collar, you're more likely to think someone, a man or a woman or lady of the cloth. But this is a collar for a dog. Auctioneers, we like it to be nice and simple. Now, the dog's got his name on here, Mortimer. And let's face it, I mean, That I probably get that around my neck. That's quite a big dog. Must have been a bull mastiff or something. Certainly not a cockapoo or anything like that. But really kind of quite a, you know, these are quite sort of interesting really. And that's probably sort of 100 or two. And one of the last lots to talk about, which again is really quite an interesting thing, and it's quite fascinating to look behind the scenes and the history behind these items. And we have here, it's a silk scarf, which is in its original tissue paper and outer plastic casing. I'm just going to open it very, very carefully. Now, this was sent to a young girl in 1963 from Audrey Hepburn. And the young girl was absolutely besotted and fascinated by Audrey Hepburn, and she sadly, as a young girl, she was incredibly ill and wasn't expected to live all these years, and so she wrote away just saying what an inspiration she found Audrey Hepburn to be. So Audrey sent her some various sort of photographs back of her. She sent her the silk scarf. Really quite unusual. Audrey Hepburn didn't really send out gifts to people, and there's this wonderful letter to our client here. Dear Linda, I just received your sweet card with a beautiful rose, which made me very happy. I was so delighted to hear that I'm one of your favourites. As I was not sure which picture you would like best of me, I'm sending you several for your scrapbook. Enclosed is also a scarf which I thought you would like. I find it so pretty with all its woodland flowers, most of which grow up here in the mountains, and I know you will find in England too. I send you my warmest wishes and love, Audrey. And what is fascinating, as a 13-year-old girl, Linda, who's still with us today, kept this. She kept the tissue paper. She even kept the envelope that it all was sent through today. So this is all handwritten here by Audrey Hepburn. And today, this is estimated between £1,000 and £2,000. Now, Audrey Hepburn, as some people will know, she's a great supporter of UNICEF. And actually, Linda, who we're selling this for, is donating the proceeds of sale to UNICEF as well. So that's a bit of a whistle-stop tour through our huge two-day auction coming up on the 20th and 21st of June. And maybe we'll see you at the sale.